Living Heritage is designed to highlight, examine, and celebrate elements of the rich cultural heritage of St. Kitts and Nevis. Journey with us as we explore our distinct and immersive culture. Welcome to a life of pride in our past and confidence in our present and future. Welcome to Living Heritage. Welcome to Living Heritage, ICH documentary series of St. Kitts and Nevis, produced by the Department of Sports and the Creative Economy. Picture this: several products ranging from baby care to skin care to hair care to cultural culinary goodies and condiments with one thing in common. They are made from natural and organic ingredients that appeal to the most delicate of palates and can be used on the most sensitive skin. Tradition is at the heart of this industry, steeped in the knowledge that has been passed down from generation to generation. By women, I might add. Today, we feature an entrepreneur and product line that is linked with the ICH, that's the Intangible Cultural Heritage, domain of knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe. Our TKB, traditional knowledge bearer, is on a journey with several twists and turns that have made her and her company into a unique symphony of creative, cultural, and traditional exploration. Look and listen to the melody of entrepreneurial exploration of Anastasia Elliott.
My name is Anastasia Elliott. I am the CEO and co-founder of Sugartown Organics, and we have a storefront called The Organic Shop. At The Organic Shop, we carry all of the brands that we make under our company, Sugartown Organics. So that is we started out with Yafrine, which is our hair care, bath and body care line. We also have Marapa, which is our skincare line. We have Baba's Lullaby, which is our baby care products. And of course, a food line, which is Pavel Foods. I would have been just heading into my 30s, my late 20s. It was my dream, to be honest, growing up. The women in my family, we aren't encouraged to go to work. We're encouraged to start a business. I don't know exactly what happened back. What was it, the impetus for them making that decision to start to indoctrinate the women in that way? But there was something that happened, and so going forward, like all of the girls, we're encouraged to go into business and not work, especially work on that man. And so for me growing up, even though my mom worked, she was a soldier, she didn't encourage me to go and look a job, right? She was like, start your own business. So from very young, I was in entrepreneurship. I was baking and selling cookies or cupcakes or crocheting and selling stuff. So I was always doing some sort of entrepreneurial activity growing up. So for me, it was a natural progression to get into business. I started working because I wanted experience. My mom, she couldn't afford to send me to university. I didn't qualify for a scholarship when I applied. And so I decided that I would pick jobs that would teach me the things that school would have taught me. So I went into journalism first, and there I did office management. I was a junior editor, and I worked in marketing and sales. I did laying out magazine, right? I did the newspaper. I picked another job in a graphic and design firm where I learned how to lay out flyers and magazines and how to do accounting, right? Which is career for a digital space, but they actually did accounting there. So I learned all of that. And so I picked jobs that taught me all these different skills that I could pull together to create a cohesive business. And it didn't cost me, hundreds of thousands of dollars in school fees, right? So, yeah. You can find a lot of knowledge in the Bible as well. I learned that from my mom growing up. She learned that from her grandmother. And so the women, they pass along specific information. It's not all at once, it's really gradual. So there are things that I don't know how to make, even in the product line, the things I don't know how to make, right? My mom makes them because that is her knowledge. And I guess I haven't reached to the point where it's time for her to teach me as yet. So there's some things as I go, I will learn new things from her. I will gain different knowledge, and I too am charged with passing that on to my children. So they too are learning about herbs and what specific things could use for that, whether it's to heal or to harm, because there's herbs, yes, they could heal, but they can harm too. And you need to know what really the fine line is. The company, because of the ethos of my family, I really built that into the company, right? Because for me, it was something that I resonated because I grew up with it. It's not something that I see anywhere else, right? In a lot of ways, we're very different to a lot of people around us. And so for me, it was one way to make sure that my company and my products were unique, right? And so I built that into the company. The stories of where some of the recipes come from, who they came from, what were their experiences are built into everything. So take the flower food line, for instance. A lot of the recipes came from my grandparents, my great-grandparents. And so the names, Florel, that's the names built in, Florence, Loretta, and Uriel, right there, right? The color of the packaging is our national flag. The colors from our national flag, because we're from St. Kitts and Nevis, right? We have more like a garden space, our backyard, which we turn into a gardenscape. So we grow most of our fruits and vegetables, our spices there. We also source from Gideon Force Farms, from Spax and Sunny Point. And we also source from our network of backyard gardeners who grow to our specifications. Take like a hot sauce, for example, like a passion fruit hot sauce. So we source passion fruit locally if we don't have any growing in our garden. Like if there's none ready for use, then we source it from another local farmer within our network. So we have a specific network that we source from because we want it to be organic. And then we take that, we process the passion fruit, which means we just blend it down to fine pieces, pulp really. We add the peppers, some seasonings, vinegar, water, and we cook that for a specific time, and then we bottle it. So that whole thing is, local with the exception of the vinegar. Yeah. Something that we probably use across the board would probably be something like nettle, maybe. We definitely use it across the board in the hair care line, because it's something that is indigenous to us here, right? It's a part of our history and our culture. And so we use nettle because it's rich in iron and it's rich in all these different minerals that we need as people of color in the Caribbean. We need those things. And so we really build it into our hair care line to be able to give back those nutrients back to people. Because we realize that just telling them isn't enough. A lot of people, they're so busy they can't do it themselves. So if we can give them these little nuggets of nutrition, they get it in the hair care, they get it in the skincare, face stuff they use in the body, they get it in the food, so they're getting it.
We'll be right back with more from TKB Anastasia Elliott in the domain of knowledge and practices concerning nature and the universe.
Check on your batteries. Check. Emergency center. Check. Store up your water. Check. And board up your window. Check. So you got to place it. Check. Before it is too late. Check. Disaster could happen anytime, any place. Check on your elders. Check. And your insurance. Check. Secure the animals. Check. Tie down the gas tank. Check. Don't intoxicate. Check. You got to play it safe. Disaster could happen anytime, any place.
For more information, contact your National Emergency Center today. Before the storm, stock up on perishable foods to last at least 24 hours. Secure important documents. Full up on gasoline. Remove boats and fishing pots from the water. During the storm, unplug electrical appliances. Do not go outside. Listen to your radio station. After the storm, do not go sightseeing. Make sure the entire family is okay and assess and photograph all damages.
Check on your batteries. Emergency center. Store up your water. And board up your window. So you got to place it before it is too late. Disaster could happen anytime, any place.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to the St. Kitts Craft House. This is where life begins. And what we create will leave you speechless. We train, we create, we promote, and we maintain the highest standards. Experience life for yourself. The premier craft and production facility in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Our TKB Anastasia Elliott continues by relating her marketing strategy as the CEO of Sugartown Organics.
don't have the marketing budget to compete with big business, especially international businesses that are, telling you this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this in all as many different ways every day, right? Yes, we live in a small country, and there's this notion that everybody knows each other. That just isn't true, right? It's not true, because there are people I see that I don't know every day. So for me, it's a marketing tactic that I utilize. I keep going on. Even though we do have a storefront, we don't stay here all the time. If there's anything outside, we go out, right? We pack up our stuff and we go out, because there's a way to interact with people, right? To meet new people. Everybody doesn't know who I am. Some people see me on the TV, yes, but they don't know. They've never handled the products, right? Some people know of the name, but they've never seen the products physically, right? A lot of people pass here by the store and they don't come in, but they will see me out and they'll be like, "Oh, I pass the store there," right? So now they've seen the product, interacted with it. Next time they pass, they're gonna come in. And so for me, it's just a way to get marketing done without having to spend a lot of money that I don't have. And it's also helped me to get out and to see what is happening on the ground, right? So that we could more tailor the products. Because here we're very social, so they don't come and tell me what they want or what they don't like about the product, or not, what they like. But ask them to write a review, and it's like pulling teeth, right? So for me, it serves a lot of multi-purposes with me going out and participating in these events. I've done a lot of training courses over the years, starting from 2016, which is like a year after we initially launched. I went outside a lot because there isn't a lot that existed locally. It's because I started with the dream of exporting. I didn't start the company with sole focus of staying locally. They wanted to export because we have people living outside of the country, a lot, probably more than we have locally, right? And so for me, when I look out and I do my research and I do my schooling and I learn the things that are going into products, and I learn how these things are harming people of color, and I know that I have products that could offer them solutions, for me, staying locally just is selfish, right? And so for me, I go out to marketing events, I go out to trade fairs, I participate in workshops, in programs that will help me to go out. I do those things so that I get these little nuggets of footprints in all these different places. If I've been to Africa, I've been to Europe, I've not been to the US product-wise. That's going to happen now over the summer. And then we go out and we introduce people to the products across the Caribbean. Like we do really well with our salad dressings in Barbados, right? In Trinidad, it's more like the skincare stuff or the hair care stuff, right? So I know what sells on the various islands because I've been there physically. Because I know that if I have to go and pay somebody to go and do that research, like I can't afford it. But if I can go because I participated in a program that took me there, then I'm on the ground, I'm getting to know people, they're getting to know me, but I'm also getting to get real-time information about what the people are looking for and not just what statistics are saying. Because statistics say one thing, but the people say something else. And I learned that from working as a journalist. All right, so I really use the things that I've learned over my experience working and just all the different things that I've done to sort of inform what I do and how I do it. Just being a woman in business has been its own set of wow, right? Being unmarried, being a single mom, just being from a small space where there's so much that doesn't exist for small businesses to be able to thrive. Being in a space where it's not very easy to export, ship out stuff. There are all these challenges, the high cost to import goods because there's something we just have to import. Like our glass packaging, there's nowhere on the island that makes glass packaging. But those are safest for food, right? And because we adhere to those safety standards, then we have to go with the safe food packaging. But we have to bring those in, and it's very costly to bring those in. Sometimes even botanicals that we're sourcing, we can't find them locally anymore, so we have to bring them in. Those are costly to bring in as well. I remember we did some bilberries one time, which I don't think I've ever seen them here, but we needed them for a specific eye issue. And we did like a 8-ounce package, and it cost me almost $200 to bring that package in. And I bought it for 20-something US. Right, so things like that make production very costly, and so makes the final product costly as well. it's very much an issue. It's not something, we call on government a lot to try and fix that, but it's not something government can fix, because government doesn't have any say on how the shipping routes are laid out. That is international, and we don't operate on that level, right? We don't have any power on that level. What I myself have had this issue where we're trying to get stuff out, and shipping companies are saying, oh, we can't ship that. And then we're going to do research, and then we realize, well, you telling me you can't do this is contravening on some document that we signed on to, right? World Trade Health or whatever. And so you have to have this conversation, but if you don't know, them telling you no, all you're hearing is no, right? We have a lot of ships that come in, but they don't take stuff back out because we're not known or seen as a producer company. We're seen as consumers, right? How do we change that? Because until we change that, things are going to stay the same, right? So for me, I think there's several things that we have to do. We have to start to produce more. We have to start to work together, right? Because one person shipping out isn't enough. We have to have more than one. We have to have at least enough that it makes sense for the shipper to take this pallet or to take this container load of stuff, because they know it's going to be coming regularly. So even though I do a lot of work, I know that I'm hampered because I'm basically the only one doing it. On any scale that would be significant, right? So for me, I have to look at all the avenues to how do I get stuff out, maybe producing outside, just for outside, and I stay with just all of this just for local consumption. Maybe that's one way I have to go. Maybe I could do franchising, right? So the different things that I'm looking at the moment to see how we can sort of get stuff out, because people are asking and we need to be able to produce. So government, I think government can do a lot to assist small businesses, especially businesses like mine that are producing, manufacturing food in particular. I see it happen in other islands when I go, and they ask me, well, you're getting help, this type of help, that type of help, because they give their manufacturers that type of help. And I am saying, well, no. And they go like, well, you don't have such and such. And they think, why are they not helping me? And I'm like, I have to say, well, I don't know when I go, So I think for us, it's probably a development issue, just where we are developmentally. But there are things I can see that they can put in place, to, especially if we want to export, right? Because we're talking about exporting. If you're going to export, then you have to, as a government, put some money into that procedure, because a single person can't do it on their own, right? Especially to get you where you can compete on a global stage. I alone can't do it. I just don't have the money, right? So they have to step in and help, much like how Jamaica stepped in and assisted their cooperatives into getting to where they're now Grace, an international company, right? Then we are going to have to do the same thing. Even if we have to say, like, I know that there's usually something that they have to do across the board. I think working across the board isn't going to help, because work across the board, we've done that before, and all it's done is help the big businesses and left the small businesses to struggle, right? So we're going to have to find a tiered approach that bring your businesses up to where you need them to go, step by step, step by step, step by step. Yes, they're doing the work, but you're assisting where you can. Find a network of like-minded people and learn, right? Because things change every day, really quickly, right? For me, I am constantly reading, constantly researching, constantly doing short courses. I don't stop learning. I don't stop going to school, you could say, right? I'm perpetually in school because things change so quickly, right? So yes, we have the knowledge of what the herbs do, but the way how we use them now has changed, right? Even like our land has changed, because we're putting more chemicals into the land. We're building buildings, we're spraying pesticides and fungicides and all sorts of things, right? And we're putting chlorophene in our water, right? And all of that has an impact. And we're using the same water to water our gardens, right? So all of that has an impact on this build-up of chemicals and build-up and build-up. And so you really have to learn how can you mitigate that build-up in your production, right? How can you mitigate the effects of that build-up in your customers using your products, right? And for that, you have to learn. You have to be open to people telling you how we're doing it isn't correct, even if you believe that it's correct, and not fight against that, because if you're fighting, they're not going to teach you, right? Somebody could tell you, what you're doing is wrong, and just be cool and calm and Learn why they're telling you it's wrong, because they have a reason. Learn why they're telling you it's wrong, and see how what they're saying matches up with what you're doing. If you really need to change anything, or if that's just their way of doing things, because everybody, depending on where they come from, do things a little differently. It doesn't make it wrong, right? They're doing it because that's the way how they learned it in their space. You're doing it the way because that's how you learned it in your space. That doesn't make either of you wrong, because it works in his space and it works in your space, right? So just find, if you need to find where the common ground is, because there's always common ground, right? Sometimes it don't work and you just walk away. You haven't lost anything, right? But you have to be willing to learn, and you have to be willing to reach out to people and let people know what you're doing. I know we have this phobia that if we speak about what we're doing, somebody's gonna steal it, right? And it was very young when I learned from my mom how to share information without actually sharing information. Yeah, how to tell somebody something without telling them. And that has sort of helped me a lot when I go to pitch competition, because you have to tell a lot of information when you go to a pitch competition, right? When you, where, your how, when you, why, and your processes, financials and all that. You have to share all of that, right? But how do you share that without spilling the heart of what you do and the secrets of what you do? You can do that, right? We love Coca-Cola, right? And there's no one person in the Coca-Cola company who knows how to make Coca-Cola from start to finish. And we have to be strategic in that way. We naturally do it, but I don't know where we've got the disconnect from what we do naturally to what we do outwardly. There's some sort of disconnect that happened there that I don't know, it's almost like a degradation of our culture and our personality and our oneness, our peopleness, right? And so for me, I think you have to really think about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it. And also think about how you're going to protect it, right? And what you're going to do with that. Are you going to die with it, or are you going to pass it on to the next generation? Like for me, it doesn't make sense dying with it, because then you're forcing the next generation to start from scratch. How do you move? How do you go from that? If every generation is starting over and starting over, you're consistently starting over and you're not growing, right? So for me, it's very important to pass on information, and we do that in the different ways. One, through a summer camp, but we also offer classes, right? We also offer for persons who may have an idea for a product and they just need some assistance. So we do recipe formulation. So they come in and do consultations with us, and we teach them we create the recipes for them, and then we teach them how to make the product from the recipes. So there are different things that we do. So it's me sharing knowledge, but you're not learning what I do intrinsically, right? So you're not learning our recipes. We're taking what you have and we're showing you how to develop it into something that is safe for use, right? So we create the formula step by step the way it's supposed to be done, right? We tell you what each element does and how it works, and we show you how to put it together safely. And if we need to test it, we can show you how to do some basic testing that you can do at home, right, to ensure that the product is safe for use.
Our TKB Anastasia Elliott just gave us an earful of her truth. Where she came from, what she's doing, and where she is heading. Wrapped within that is what it means to be a Kitty Vision, who is carrying on the traditions of those who have gone before while making necessary creative adaptations to fit into the marketplace of today. Thank you for being part of our living heritage. Join us again next time, because together we can safeguard our living heritage.
Thank you.